Welcome everybody back to another Boldcast reaction. I'm Lindsay.
I'm Carson.
And today we're watching Clannad After Story episode 9. What happened last time?
Last time, Kazuto Miyazawa was dead all along, and now the gangs have mended, and there's now one kingdom of Del Tora. The tribes of Del and Tora have merged. That's from a completely different thing that doesn't have anything to do with this at all, not even a little bit. So the two gangs are now friends. We got a little insight into the light in the other world and like the wishes and stuff like that, like how that is seemingly going to become a thing, maybe? We'll see. But yeah, now I guess we're going into a completely different story.
And you already know what's going to happen because you've seen this before. You're not coming here to watch the show. You're coming here to see what we have to say. Clannad After Story episode 9. Let's go.
Bum, 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 bum.
This is gonna be the intro.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No, I'm not gonna do that. Just so I bet people would have got it too. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play.
Can't build a vehicle that could fly.
Oh yeah, they decided they were going to leave this world before winter came.
Yeah. This thing's looking creepy. Whoa.
Now the animation is roughly back to normal. The CG still isn't as good, but it's a helicopter.
That's cool the way it like fit together in there.
Yeah.
That was just really
satisfying clasp. This CG city is actually really good. Like every time I see it, I'm like, whoa, it's so epic. But it's just like a kind of poorly made CG city. But it looks really good.
It's the lighting.
Yeah, it is.
I suddenly felt the urge to change the topic.
Cute.
Had an entire discussion about it. Oh. They only give gifts on birthdays and Christmas, and it's on the same day. Totally distracted for like the entire walk. On the sloped path. Oh god.
Your looks?
Oh. Don't give him this encouragement. Oh.
Nursing school. She seems like she would go into nursing.
Yeah.
Kindergarten teacher, so we were right.
Oh, wow. You don't sound happy about it. She sounds so sad.
That's where her parents were always working.
Stop.
Look at his face.
Oh. Is she okay? She's sick.
角原、妹さんから電話よ。
何か伝言ある？また遊びに来いって言ってやっ。あと、渚が倒れた話はなしな。オッケー。
Oh, she'll be here in a fucking second.
とぼんやりしてたし、大体お前って肝心な時には。また今日に会いに来たのか？
なんだ、食べるつもりじゃなかったよ。
Why would you?
あんたは
Yeah, do it.
私も飼い主なんだから、私がパイパイパイパイ。
もしかして嫌われてるのか？
Oh.
お風呂に入れて熱くて鍋にされるって。
Where did you get this little
I don't
creature?
know. It's so cute. Just still doing it? Everyone's looking?
1ヶ月が過ぎた。
A month?
渚の容体は良くない。
Oh.
A month?
体調が良かった日、無理して登校しようとした。でも中まで歩いただけで熱が上がってしまった。
Is she not gonna be able to graduate?
That'd be so horrible.
They kicked out the animation all of a sudden.
私には構わないで遊んできてください。
ここにいさせてくれ。
こんなところにいても
いいんだよ。俺は待ってる。それだけで。
待つって何をですか？
お前と手をつないで歩ける日だよ。学校でも家でも一緒だ。二人きりになることってあんまりないだろう。だからデートして手をつないで歩きたいって思ってた。
今二人きりです。
そうだな。
つないでくれました。
11月になった。こんな風にして俺たちの秋は過ぎていった。
Watching her dad's theater.
少しずつ冬の訪れを予感させた。
What?
渚はもう一年
Oh.
3年生をやることになるか
Oh
もしれな
my
い。
god.
テストも受けられないし責任数も足りなくなりそうです。学校の先生は中退して療養に専念すべきじゃないか。私たちも学歴になんかこだわりません。
でも渚は
すべては渚の意志。
Whether to drop out in her senior year?
あの子が卒業できなくても
I've been through that. Not the best thing.
お願いしますね、岡崎さん。
嫌だ。俺はあいつと卒業したい。あいつを置いていくなんて嫌です。
岡崎さん。
渚が卒業しないなら俺も卒業したくありません。
Man to man time. Exactly.
True.
Man to man time.
そうだ、俺は子供だった。
Yeah, because you never had a father figure. Your dad was a douche.
卒業できなくなるかもしれない。それだけでもどうすればいいかわからなくなる子供だった。
Talking with the counselor about what he should do. Again. 3. She can't even blow out all the candles. Sunahara.
渚ちゃん。
I didn't see him the first time.
Rejected.
Oh, to the modeling agency.
渚、これは俺からのプレゼントだ。
こんななんて言うな、渚。お前は俺たちの大事な家族なんだぞ。
家族。
そう、そして私たちの大切な友達。
お前が幸せになれば、俺も早苗も幸せになれる。だから幸せになれ、渚。
はい、頑張ります。
それはクリスマスイブ、渚の誕生日、そして渚の留年が決まった日でもあった。小さくてか弱くて、それでも頑張り続けるそのずっと守っていきたいと思った。篠原、今から窓ガラス2人で割って回らないか。そうすれば留年できるかな。
Yeah, they would never want you back there again.
じゃあ意味ねえな。
おお、岡崎、篠原、私も今年で定年だ。お前たちと一緒に卒業ちゅうわけだの。
Retiring?
じいさんがいてくれれば演劇部も安心だと思ってた。
あの子のことなら心配いらん。お前たちよりよっぽど強いし、しっかりしとる。お前たちこそ頑張れよ。最後の最後に世話の焼ける生徒に出会えてわしゃ幸運だったよ。
Yeah.
あんたがかばってくれなく、僕らとっくに退学になってたかもしれないもんね。
あのさ、
There's nothing better than having a teacher who actually cares.
俺と
Yeah.
篠原を引きの計算だったんじゃないか。
あ、どういう意味？
俺と篠原なら馬が友達ができれば二人ともそう簡単に学校を辞めたりしないだ。そう考えたんじゃないのか。
さて、
Sati!
Seems a little bit suspicious.
さあ。
サボらずに出るようにしろ。
ありがとうございました。
Yeah.
いろいろ世話になった。
こちらの言うこと
They're younger, aren't they?
Yeah, they're a year younger.
I didn't know Tomoyo was a year younger.
That's why she's in the student council.
お前たち。
トモヤ、これから二次会だけど、あんたは行くところがあるのよね。
まあな。
Can't believe they're graduating.
I can't believe Nagisa has to do another year. They couldn't have her
That's
do a
really-
half year or something?
That's
Like
brutal.
special circumstances for someone who's sick?
ついとんでもない嘘。
バカ、外に出ちゃダメだろ。
たかったんです。どうしても。ともやくんの最後の制服。
For the last time.
ともやくん、卒業おめでとうございます。
俺、卒業しちまった。
はい。
あの学校の生徒にはなる。学校なんて大嫌いだったけど、お前とならいつまでだって過ごしたいと思ってた。ずっと腐ったみたいな学生生活を続けてきて、もうお前と過ごした最後の1年だけは楽しかったんだ。幸せだったんだ。やっぱり俺も留年すればよかった。
ともやくん、こんなことで足を止めたらダメです。進むべきなんです。ともやくんも進んでください。私はもう1年頑張りますから。
I hate that she has to do another year. So sad.
手をつないでくれますか？
バカ、 また熱が上がるぞ。
智也君と手をつないで歩きたいです。
立ち止まることなく歩きたかった。どこまでもどこまでもずっと続く坂道でも二人で。
It's ending just out of nowhere.
That was, without a doubt, the best episode of the entire show.
It's so horrible that she has to redo the entire year, even though she's only missing, like, the second half both times. But it's also just so sad because now she's just gonna be alone again, and she was already alone, and then she found all these friends, and then they all just left, and she's still gonna be there.
Well, the upside is that, I mean, I don't know how big this town is supposed to be, but regardless, Tomoya is staying around.
Mm-hmm.
He'll get a job somewhere probably, and just stick it out with her until she graduates. And so he'll be around, and then the twins are going to school,
Mm-hmm.
and it sounds like Kyo might have to move away to get her teaching degree.
Yeah.
Ryo is going to nursing school, and you could do that pretty much anywhere. So I don't know. I mean, in Japan, I don't know, but most
It's
places
a really
you do that
common
accessible
profession, so
Yeah,
it's
so
easy to find a place.
I feel like most people will stick around, and Tomio's there, and Miyazawa's there. So I feel like
And I guess-
she'll just be in school during the day, and then they'll she has two friends who are still going to school there, so that'll be fine. It's just so I don't really want to focus on that because that's not even the point. But it's just like I feel like in real life there would be some. And it depends on the school. If it's a really to-do school that's like it puts a lot of weight on its degrees, then they probably wouldn't give an exception. But if it's any normal school, they would probably give an exception to somebody if they could just take the exam. They would have let you probably take some rest and then take the exam when you're ready. In that case,
it seems like the problem is that she's getting sick in the winter. So,
right.
At the very beginning of the series, she was sickly because it was the start, and it was still, like, cold and shitty out. Remember,
like
it was
the
raining.
girl in the other world.
She can't move when
She
it's
can't
winter.
move in the winter.
And then, yeah, now that it's winter again, like, in November, like, she just couldn't do it anymore.
Take me back to November. Yeah.
So, and that's really horrible because if it is seasonal like that, like if she's fine during the summer and it's always in the winter, then I don't know if she would ever be able to graduate if they wouldn't let her, like, take the winter courses at another time or
Yeah, it's just
some way to...
I understand it's the story, and it's not... in Japan's way more hardcore with it, so I would understand if it's a cultural thing as well that they don't give exceptions, but I feel like in most places... When like life or death is involved in stuff like this, especially when everybody knows, like especially in Japan where your educational record is so important, because it's not under your control, and like it depends on how hardcore the school is, I guess, or how hardcore the school board or the faculty is, but like it seems like it would be, they would probably most places would probably make an exception, let you take the exam on your own time, have some sort of special
Well, it might not
stuff.
even be the school, though, because if it's
I don't really
like
want to spend all this time talking
okay.
about that. That's not, it's not the most important thing that happened in this episode. This was a great episode. This was an incredible episode. Like, I relate to that so much. I mean, I didn't have a girl that made me want to stay in school until university, but it was more like I just dropping out in your senior year fucking sucks because you're just so close to having this part of your life over with, and then if you drop out or have to repeat or go back, then it just feels like you're just in limbo, and it's just, especially at that time in your life, it just feels like such a huge burden. It feels like you were on this set path, this set trajectory, and then everything is just, you're just completely sent backward in time, but you're still getting older and everybody's moving on, and it just feels terrible. I cried when she opened the dongo.
That was so...
I full on cried immediately.
It was so
when she opened
cute.
the dongo.
That was so cute, and she just loved it so much, and everyone... I just love how they're all so supportive. Like, all of them are just, like, there for her Christmas birthday, and she gets the nice big dongo, and they all just love it and know that she's so happy and are so happy for her.
They just are so encouraging to her.
And I love that her parents, like, gave some good advice to Okazaki. He's all like, oh, I don't want to graduate without her, I'm gonna stay. And I really like that they just were like, no. That's really
super
dumb.
Counterproductive.
And,
if you really want to protect her, then graduate and get a better job, basically.
Just don't make her... it's because she's
she's already broken up about her.
Yeah, she doesn't like... but she also doesn't like inconveniencing other people. Like, for her own happiness is not as important necessarily as other people's. Yeah. So if she... That
would be more crushing.
If she feels like she's ruining someone else's life, then that would just completely destroy her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was such a good episode. That was the best
episode. We saw that
episode.
Teacher guy again.
Yeah, the art teacher.
It's pretty nice.
So cool. I love how I'm telling you, man, there's literally nothing in the world that makes a bigger difference. I'm getting choked up just talking about it. There's nothing in the world that makes a bigger difference in somebody growing up than, like, a teacher who actually gives a shit, man. It's so important. Like, yeah. Oh my god, I'm crying again. It's so important, and it's so good to see. I'm literally, like, breaking down from this. It's awesome. Love that guy. Great character. Mm-hmm. That he, like, set it up because he knew that just, like, having somebody to come to school for every day, like, can say you right and, like, make you want to actually care about going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And awesome. I love that we got to see Sunahara and, like, them just being best friends still. But it's also...
Go ahead, sorry.
But it is also kind of sad because, obviously, Sunahara is going to be moving back to his hometown, which is, like, not close by.
Yeah.
You'd have to... I hope he, like, comes to visit, but it will be more of, like, a production to come over. He won't just be there all the time.
Yeah, I love how they had just, like, the random Botan thing.
For no reason.
Just to break it up, to show a little passage of time that it's not just time skip to graduation.
Yeah.
They added that specifically as there were still things that happened. There were still, like, fun times.
Yeah.
Between there, it wasn't just like, Nagisa got sick and now we're graduating. Really good idea to add just that 2-minute thing of them just messing around at school.
And we had the whole, like, model thing, and I was like, here we go again. But it was more of just, like, a little joke rather than an entire new plot point in the series. And then it's like he got rejected from the modeling agency, not from a school.
Again, I think it's a funny thing with Jun Maeda that he, like, it seems like when you give him because we've talked about this before in in both this show and others, but, like, his other shows that we've watched, Angel Beats, Charlotte, Day Became a God. It's not such a great example, but this is the first, like, long, it's like 50 episode, 44 episode show, not counting OVAs, and this episode is a perfect testament to how, like, comparing this to both those other shows and that joke that you referenced to both the other shows that he's done and previously in this one, when there is a time limit and his writing is constricted by specific parameters, then his jokes become way more snappy because he doesn't have the luxury to drag it out over a course of time.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he actually, now that I mentioned it, I don't know if he actually wrote the script for this or if he just wrote the light novel or both. Because I know that he did the music, I'm pretty sure, for this. It sounds like his music. And I'm pretty sure he wrote the script for the other shows, but I don't know about this one because this was a visual novel beforehand. So I'm not sure. But either way, his jokes work way better when they're forced to fit between
and I think
actual plot points where things are actually happening and actually matter. Like, all this stuff was about Nagisa and everything going on with their real plot problems, their real personal problems. And in between, there were all these actually funny, snappy jokes, like very economist jokes about what Tsunohara was doing or what everyone else was doing.
Yeah. And I was going to say, that's why I think that this episode was such a standout, and it was because, and actually this season compared to season 1 of Clannad has just been a lot, just for me, better and more enjoyable of a watching experience in general. And I think it's because he knew there's going to be a time skip, so it all has to get packed in to this many episodes. We'll go through a couple more characters that people want to see, want to flesh out these characters, and then then it's graduation. And it has to be done by then, and then we can move,
It seems like... go ahead, sorry.
Just because the Clannad, part 1, just Clannad, was very dragged out. Every plot point was as long as it could possibly be.
Right.
As many episodes, as many jokes, as many random tangents and side stories could be fit into each girl and each of their stories. That's what they did.
Yeah.
And it wasn't as good. And in this season, it's a lot more condensed. The jokes are awesome, funny, snappy, mixed in with actual plot. And it's really great.
It seems like this was supposed to be the true finale of Clannad Part 1.
Yeah.
And it seems like because things were possibly because things were so stretched out in part 1. And I don't know, now that it's also funny because now we're getting the rewatchers remorse type thing. At least I think that's a good way of putting it. I never put it into a phrase before, but when you watch a show for the first time and it's like a beloved show by many. This happened to me with Cowboy Bebop. It happened to me with Samurai Champloo. It happens to me with a lot of shows. It happened to me with Monster, where you're getting through it and you like it, but the reason people are so hype about it is because they finished it, and then they're looking back on it way more fondly. And it causes it, and what happens is you finish a show, you get through the show, and then you look back on it and you remember it way better than the experience you had watching it, and you kind of regret not really enjoying those moments. It's like life. It's like you don't know what you have until it's gone. You didn't enjoy what you were watching until you couldn't watch it anymore. And
I think also it is when you watch a show and the experience of watching it is not enjoyable, like the way it is presented, but the story itself is very strong and very good. After a while, your brain goes back and you just remember the story.
Yeah.
And all the best parts. You're not...
Yeah, that happens with Naruto. People do that with Naruto. But what... It's just funny because I'm thinking I wish this was the real finale of Clannad, and we don't know what's coming afterwards because we're halfway through After Story at this point. We don't know what's coming afterwards, and I don't know if once I get to the okay, if you take me back to a couple episodes ago or at the end of Clannad Part 1, I might be thinking, I wish this entire 4-core 2-season show was shortened to 2 cores, cut it in half, make it nice and tighten it up. But I'm thinking once I get to the end, and now that I'm at this point, now that I see this and I see them graduate and I see that collage or that montage of all the Nagisa moments throughout of her everything, all their entire journey up to this point, and seeing even stuff from episodes 1 and 2. I look back on all that stuff, even the Kotomi arc at its slowest points where there was literally gardening for 2 episodes. I'm looking back on that now, and I'm seeing how I'm probably going to feel at the very end, and I'm thinking, I don't think I would want it any other way at that point. Watching it, the experience of watching it, maybe shorter is better, but I'm thinking, once I get to the end, I think I'm going to like the basketball episode.
Once you hear that OP kicking in, whatever it is, like, looking back on all the, like, good moments and remembering them, then you're just going to be like,
Yeah. So it's just, it's a funny thing, and I think that's maybe why I'm harsh on the show a lot of times, but then when you get to something like this, an actually good episode, I look back on those moments fondly, even if, you know, nothing really happened a lot of the time, and it was just, like, the slowest burn for the simplest plot, many times, especially in part 1 with Kotomi and Fuko I'm thinking of, but...
Yeah.
Anyway, this episode was great. It just makes me, because it's such a climactic episode, and because they're looking back on their things, I'm looking back on both the story and my experience of the story, and I'm remembering it more fondly than I think I did when I experienced it. And that's the funny thing, I guess, about reactions, because you can go back and see I can go back and see myself kind of drifting in and out of attention for the show, and probably hate myself later on. Later on I will probably hate that version of myself, being like, why aren't you caring about this shit? And why people are probably like, God, all this guy does is hate on Clannad. Why are you guys even watching? Mm-hmm. I don't know. All this stuff makes me look back on everything, and makes me really excited for what's to come. I wonder if we're going to have next episode, because it's been sort of 2 episodes each time.
Yeah.
I wonder if next episode is going to be, now we're in the future, like now we're 4 years in the future, now we're 5 years in the future, or whatever it's going to be, or if we're going to have a transitional episode to like maybe a longer time skip or something like that. Or I don't even know how long a time skip is going to be.
Yeah,
it seems like there's going to be a time skip because they set up everybody's career. It seems like there's going to be like a 4 or 5 year time skip. That's what I'm guessing too.
Because it looks like we already predicted that she was going to become a teacher, and we could see her with the kids in the OP.
Yeah. And
so either that's maybe just part of her training and it's not going to be too big of a skip, or we're going to get more of a skip where she's now a teacher and, you know, I don't know. I'm going to be... Yeah, I just don't know what's going on with Nagisa and, like, her sickness.
Right.
And, you know, how much that's holding her back even now from even just school. And if that's, you know, it doesn't seem like she's growing out of it or anything. Like, it's...
Right.
And she's sick for months at a time. Yeah. And it makes me scared. One of my things is I'm like, okay, well, if Ryo is becoming a nurse, if she's gonna, like, have to take care of Nagisa later or something when something bad happens, because she's, like, crying in the OP. So now I'm like...
But she was crying in her school uniform.
Oh.
I think. Oh. We can go back and look. We probably shouldn't study the OP too much because... Oh, you know what? He's driving in the van... Either that's just him and this is some sort of... I don't want to analyze the OP too much. It's some sort of metaphorical representation, or it's Yoshino Yusuke, and he's working for him.
Oh!
I bet that's what it is. I bet that he's working with him, doing cable repair and stuff like that. And Kotomi's studying abroad. That's really sad. We're not going to see her probably very much. Mm-hmm. I wonder if Tomio's gonna be a, like, city official or something when she graduates. Yeah, she's in her school uniform.
Okay, never mind.
She's crying, and we didn't see what that was about, so...
That might just be, like, memories of, like, previous times, because she does cry a lot. I can't believe she bathed. She bathed a little pig, and then...
And then he's just like, no! Anyway... Incredible episode, best episode of the series by far, probably by like a total of 5 points. That was like, that's everything I would want from this show. That is, that experience of watching that was exactly what I wanted out of watching the show. It's exactly what the potential that I saw in the show when building up all to this point, and maybe it's probably because of all that build up that we got to this point.
But it's really nice to have, like, the realistic and, like the episode just felt very, like, real. Like, it flowed. There was some sad moments, there were some funny moments, there were some happy moments, and it spanned a long period of time. But it just felt like it was just kind of going, and there was no way to stop it, and they were just going.
Yeah.
And that's just how it was.
Yes.
Yeah, well.
Lindsay
I always
forgets
forget
she's
that
doing
I'm
the
doing
outro.
But thank you guys for watching, and please, if you're still here, please make sure to like and subscribe. Stick around to see our reaction to the next episode, and hope you have a good day. Bye-bye.